The string leadership training scheme has benefited me enormously as a cellist and musician in terms of just knowing a bit more about orchestral life. Being able to be part of the orchestral season for such a long time kind of gives you more of a perspective over how the week works.
I heard about the scheme during my undergrad. I studied at the Royal Northern College of Music and I was aware of it being something that people were going for and I knew it was something I wanted to aim to do after I graduated. It's beneficial in a lot of ways, but really it's just an invaluable experience with one of Britain's top orchestras. It's the only situation where you're treated as a professional, but you have the luxury of asking for feedback and learning, and you have the mentor hours with the principals, so you have the educational aspect of it as well, so it's sort of the best of both worlds.
It gives you the ability to kind of ask questions, which you wouldn't normally do if you're going in for extra work, so it's nice to have that freedom.
Well, highlights have probably included Rheingold, which was amazing. We did that with Mark Elder, and obviously he so knows what he's talking about when it comes to Wagner. And it was my first experience of a massive opera. I'd kind of done Mozart stuff and nothing on the scale of the Ring Cycle, so that was just incredible.
I hadn't really done much orchestral playing before, so I've had such a rich experience here. I really want to kind of pursue that, and the musicianship that's involved in being an orchestral musician. It's so different to anything that I've done before, to chamber music or solo playing, so it's helped quite a lot in terms of knowing how your sound fits in with a section, and being able to experiment with that.
So there's various education things that you get alongside the scheme. We went into a school and you kind of take your instruments and introduce the kids to what you're playing. We just had to compose a sort of 5-minute tune with the kids, and they mostly had unpitched percussion, but some glocks and xylophones and stuff as well. We did that on the Flying Dutchman Overture as our inspiration.
So I was involved in the Halle Adopt a Player scheme, which was the first thing we did this year. A school is assigned 2 Halle players, so in our case it was a string leadership person and a Halle member. The woman I was working with, actually Rachel, she's a double bassist in the orchestra, and she started the double bass because of a similar scheme with the LSO.
I really like living in Manchester actually. There's lots of galleries and cafes and bars, and it's got a good vibe. The people here are really friendly, and the kind of travel around the city, that you don't have to be on a train for too long to get anywhere, basically.
So the initial process is obviously filling out your application with the cover letter. I found that quite stressful, but you don't need to worry about that too much. I think it's just, why the Halle specifically. And then you have your initial first round audition, which is held at the Royal Northern College of Music with a Halle member and an RNCM staff member. And then when you get through to the second round, it's just a single trial day in the orchestra. You spend a day, you sit in, well in my case you sit in the seconds and the first violins in each area of the section. And you just twiddle your thumbs and wait for the result really.